Already we've seen him perform brilliantly in 2 games, but fell severely short in game number 3. Can he close it out here? In the bottom left, it's going to be TSL4.
And up in the top right side, still chatting like chatty little Cathys, as if they're friends, as it does look like in the top right side. It is going to be Major, and they were talking, it looks like, I can't decipher everything they're saying, but they are talking about last map, and Major seeming pretty happy with that win. And also there's the ZZZ. No, guys, they are not getting sleepy, as Sean explained to us. They are laughing quite a bit. And Major's saying many drones. He was able to indeed kill a lot. I don't know if he ever reached 100 drone kills. I think he was hovering at around 81, which is pretty brutal. But that's kind of how you have to beat Zerg.
And Zerg killed off 1. It was the funniest thing. It was like a sliver of blue in that one matchup stat panel. But, you know, it's interesting to note, obviously, that with whomever's winning, his respective chat is more enthusiastic. Hyun was not using as many exclamation points. Major's begun to talk again in this game number 4 on Daybreak. This is the map where I honestly think that there are some good metagame style maneuvers. Going for the command center first is very popular on this map, but no, it looks like Major is doing, wow, actually a very conservative barracks placement, putting it right there at the front of his ramp. It's quite common to build a barracks mid-map, send a single Marine towards your opponent, and then float it on back home, but man, Major's again, sort of holed up into this ultra-defensive style. And there's Hyun checking for the typical placement for one of those barracks.
I love how he's using this drone. He literally scouted the 3 places I've seen barracks placed on this map. The kind of right outside the natural, at that 3rd base, and then over by the Terran's 3rd base, or I guess you could call it the 4th base sometimes. Either way, scouting those locations right away is going to spot that. He does lose a little bit of mining here, but he has the confidence to know exactly what's going on. Then, of course, he will scout the main base, be able to get a count of what's going on there, and may just head directly back on home without scouting the workers, because he already knows what's up. There's really nothing that can take him by surprise at this point. So indeed, he is going to go ahead and do that. And I gotta say, I love this from Hyun. He's shown that his macro's top-notch. His creep spread is even better, I would say. Some of the best I've seen in the business. And, you know, it all comes down to every single drone you have is going to help you get further and further ahead. Down goes the command center. So Major says, hey, I kind of like how that last game went, so I'm going to be comfortable here, expanding early.
Only 1 Marine out right now for Major. Instantly gets the 2 refineries. Significant to note he's getting them before he gets a supply depot. This is almost always going to indicate an aggressive helion Mutalist timing. Looks like TT Fast ZZ. I don't know if they, you know, perhaps they're referring to the
Overlord, I think.
Overlord speed that is like a rocket ship, and there's a lot of exhaustion going on here. ZZZ, ZZZZZ, ZZZ. Just fast, ZZ.
Yeah, that poor Overlord is able to survive. Does not want to go the same way as the last Overlord in the previous games. We do see the Overlord now scouting the main base. We'll be able to spot at least 1 of the gas here.
You know, let's just establish the basics of what's going on, so I can just tell a brief story.
Oh, I love stories.
Almost certainly Major's going to be going for the Hellion Banshee composition. Very strong, has all the signals of it being so. Hyun, on this map, we see is not taking gas yet and would like some way to get a reasonably fast 3rd. We see 1 queen going down. Surprised not to see that extra queen, and that is because, yep, the macro hatch is about to plop down.
It's story time.
It's looking like the same opening on Ohana. When I used to play Warcraft 2, where you had to call someone up, you actually did not connect to a server. I would use my 9600 baud modem to play a 1v1 or, of course, team games against the computer. And because we were very young when we were playing, we didn't have enough, and by we, I mean me and my brother, we didn't have enough finger speed to type out, oh my god, help, I'm being attacked. So we would just type ZZ whenever we were under attack. So anytime I see the Z's, I just feel like they're freaking out and screaming like, hey, that Overlord is really fast. I'm under attack! Like, Z.
Your blood pressure's raising.
Yeah,
there's sweat. You're trying to micro the units for them, unable to.
And look at this. Major is actually not going for the Banshee play. He is, though, doing another gas-heavy opening. He's going for the double factory. Fast, Blue Flame, an excellent play on this map.
And Sean, the only comparable story I have is when I was about 11 years old. I thought you connected to the internet to play multiplayer games with your friends by plugging in an Ethernet cable between the 2 computers. Little did I know that did not work. They did have crossover cables, though, I later found out. But regardless, we do have the early 3rd hatchery once again here for Hyun. Down goes quad gas, which I don't get to say very often, but 4 gas at a time here. And what do you think about the early Blue Flame Hellion upgrade here, Sean?
really great. On a huge map, it's difficult to get all the way to his base and back again, so you get the fast units, Banshees, Helions, Vikings. Excellent what he's going for. Blue Flame really allows you to maintain that control all game long. But of course, Major, he is not known for his passivity, despite what we saw in the first 2 games. Now following it up with a medevac play, he's going to be whacking down that creep spread, preventing them lings from scouting, and then dropping in that base and lining them up.
That's the plan. Sounds pretty complicated. We'll see if he can make it work. So far, Hyun, though, does not have Zergling speed, does not have a Roach Warren, has just got a lot of drones. The Hellions right there don't want to reveal the Blue Flame. They don't have it quite yet, though, so they are free to engage that drone. Not worth it, though. You got to remember, he needs every Hellion he can here for that elevator tactic into the main base. However, there is no surface area that is doesn't have a big gap between the 2 bases if you do go for that drop play, so elevatoring those units can be quite tough. He's got a lot of Hellions, though, making 3 at a time. He's already got 7 on the field, going to be up to 10 here relatively soon. This could be a massive drop. It could be multi-pronged attacks. And Sean, is multi-pronged Hellion attacks, is that a thing? Is that viable?
It's definitely a great way to distract him in one place. It's almost like you don't want to attack at the same time. You stagger it. We see the 3 up there at the 3rd base. That's going to provide a distraction, pulling the queens away. He wants to get him just a little bit off creep, and he's going to actually stop for a moment and wait and see if the queens come. And there, now is the time for the drop to happen up in the main base, and it looks like Hyun has all his queens elsewhere, and suddenly the main base is under a huge threat.
He is going to try and get right in the mineral line, and he is able to. The drones clumping up a little bit more than we've seen in the past. Does get a nice split there, and does still split them very beautifully. The queens got back up here. Here comes the multi-prong attack. Slips right in here. No! He splits it again. Misses
oh my god!
And
oh no!
More than I thought would survive do indeed survive.
How?
And the
How? No, they're lining up again there.
They're so
oh my
low
god,
HP.
they're so incredibly low. He's got 25 worker kills staggered throughout that. But there are so many drones still dying in the main base. The Hellions doing massive damage, and my heart taking massive damage after that incredible limbo line of drones that's about to get roasted. Oh!
Tries to slip in the natural there as may just go for the queen here. Where's the reinforcing queens? They are out of position. The queen does move, swaps out for the Zerglings. Can he get in there? Here he goes. If this was you, Sean, you'd be spamming ZZZ. The drones are going to try and miss around. Oh, no, more going down as the drones only saturating that natural.
Oh my god.
This is ridiculous.
No, the huge line. Oh, another shot. Oh my god.
If we were able just to pause time so we could recover from that, but of course we are unable to because this is StarCraft 2. And isn't actually saturated at any of his bases other than his natural, so even though he didn't kill all the drones, he has killed 48, and also the income is not looking good, only at 800 compared to the 1600. The 3rd base is now done for Major. Major may force this into a game number 5.
Now
or
keep
4. 5? 5.
Game number 5,
okay.
yes. This is game number 4. It could be going to ace match coming up after this. Keep in mind, though, that even with the amount of damage that's been dealt, the distances on this map are enormous.
Yes.
Terran clearly is committed to mech. Zerg knows this. Zerg correctly not mining gas at this point in time. You don't desperately need gas early on against a meching player. He's just trying to recover economically. And if he can, he's still going to be in good condition to be able to come back in this game. But Vikings are still picking off those overlords.
The medevac trying to unload right there, and he may be able to get a couple overlord kills. Is up to 1 kill right now. There's a weakened overlord outside the base. Miss Micros there is going to end up losing that Viking. But regardless, killing overlords would be huge right now because he's near supply blocked. He wants to use that money for drones. It does look like the Hellions now going to harass again. Looks like they're only able to kill a bunch of Zerglings here. Might kill off the Banelings as well. But every pair of Zerglings he kills, that is 1 less larva used for a drone. And right now he really wants to make drones. The last Hellion finally getting taken out. But overall, more drones may go down here. The Hellion harass never ends. They do get surrounded, but again, denying mining there. I don't know how much more Sean can take. About to fall out of his chair. Sean, maybe just look away during the exciting times.
I will have to close my eyes. It will not be unlike when I went to go see Signs in the movie theater when I was an adult. I get scared in movies, Mike.
I was trying to think of the most recent terrible movie I've seen, because that's why I had to close my eyes. But regardless, we do see the 3rd base is kind of up for Hyun, but unfortunately, look at this wall in here for Major. We do have upgrades across the board, 1-1, as well as Overlord and Roach upgrades on the way now for Hyun here. But Major's ahead in supply. Hyun is supply blocked. This is a brutal supply block, actually, as he doesn't have an Overlord making, and he's supply capped, so he needs to make sure to get that going. And this is kind of painful to watch on. I need to see some Overlords being produced here.
Another little roll up of Helions, trying to spot something. We're starting to see that creep spread only just now begin. Now, just to compare, at 14 minutes in game number 1, Hyun's creep spread was touching the front of Major's base. That's what happens when you leave a Zerg just leave him alone. That's what happens.
Just be nice to them.
It's like, seriously, it's like locking a bunch of gremlins in a room with food after midnight. Or I guess that's Mogwai, excuse me. Just, Mike, it's your turn.
We have a Spire going down here at the natural right there. It is kind of well hidden there. We haven't really seen Major do any sort of scan action to see exactly what's going on there. He does. I love this, Sean. I just want to say, getting a second Viking to continue the Overlord hunt. I feel like it's always they get the one Viking, they're hunting for the Red Overlords, like Hunt for Red October, and then they lose it, and they're like, okay, well that movie's over, so we'll wait for the sequel. But I do love following it up with an additional Viking. Double sensor towers are now out. I gotta say, I like where Major's at this game.
Yeah.
And Hyun, you gotta remember, 4th base is kind of janky as far as minerals are concerned, but it does have the rich Vespine Geyser.
What's weird is that even though Major is in a pretty good position, I mean, he's obviously ahead of his opponent in food count, he can't really do that much attacking. A brilliant move is getting these 2 Banshees like he is to shut down his expansion.
No cancel!
And no cancel. An uncharacteristic blunder coming out of Hyun as he's shoving that back, immediately re-expands. But still, we're seeing that there's just not that much that can be done. Oh, a Helion harass going on at the 3rd base. The Zerglings trying to get into a good position, but getting absolutely roasted as a drop goes on in the main base as well.
Hyun just not catching a break here. This is why the aggression out of Terran is something you've got to do versus a player like Hyun. The drones are split up very well, but guess what? The Hellions aren't taking any damage, which means they will take out some of the drones. Overall, what's the work rate? 79. He's getting close to his record from the last game. We do have 9 Mutalisks on the way. 18 drones just were created there. He knows he's behind. He's doing everything he can. He does have 2-2 on the way. Don't count him out quite yet, but the Hourglass may be running out of sand, as it does look like that is a lot of units outside Major's expansion. He once again has multiple command centers, so many command centers. Sean, is this normal to get this many command centers on 3 base?
It's a great move when you're going mech. It's the best way to spend resources because you can't get too many Hellions, and now it looks like the Banshees will fall. They didn't get Cloak. It was a delay tactic from Major. Hyun is going to have a very long amount of breathing room going on right now. The Mutalisks are going to run right into some Thor fire, and will end up pulling back, but these Mutalisks are going to completely control the middle of the map for quite some time, and against a mech player, it's very easy to just build only drones, and when you see your opponent start to move out to attack, then you build units. You still have that time.
Angle's looking spectacular here. Looks like he may take out the medevac. Does unload the Hellions, though, so is able to recoup those losses a little bit. And if nothing else right now, he is preventing those Mutalisks from doing that much other than just chasing around the very quick Hellions who do have a push out on the left side of the map as well. Can he
Third
get
base
any
is vulnerable.
Here? The barracks going down. Here we go.
Some roaches do step up to engage, and the drones immediately from Hyun rush forward to try to catch these off guard. Has only lost some of these drones, but still will lose about 6. We see more Hellions trying to work their way through middle, but they just stopped in the corner because they've been grounded in an SCV train from Major. A brilliant maneuver. This is one of the really high-level finishing touches to strong mech. You add on a bunch of command centers, sacrifice all your SCVs, and then you have an even larger maxed army, and you rely on mules for money.
And yeah, that wasn't a, oh, I'm transferring to the Zerg player's 3rd base, and oh no, he intercepted my workers. That was very deliberate, and Hyun's got to spot that and be like, oh god, how much stuff is he going to have when he pushes out if he's sacrificing this many workers right now?
Ooh, that's an intimidating moment.
Down in the bottom right side. More command centers on the way. Sean, he is lining up the command centers here as he is up to a ridiculous amount. It's going to be non-stop mules from here on out. The Viking count's looking pretty good. He's not going to have to worry about Broodlords, just pure Roach. And he can also use the Vikings to deny drops. The Overlords do have speed and drop capability, but I don't know. I almost feel like he can just 1A his way to victory, but the Zerg player is maxed out.
This is a really scary moment, but I think Major played it out absolutely perfectly. He knew he wouldn't be able to attack for a really long time, so his maxed army would be very slow. But now what he's done is he's sacked so many SCVs that his maxed army is huge. In the army supply tab, it's a 142 maxed army from Major.
131 army, but that is mostly in Roaches. The Vikings going to focus down some of the Overlords. Do they get any with units inside?
Oh my god!
Not today. He is going to drop directly on top of it. Is it going to be enough, though? So many Thors here, and they do have 2 attack, and 3 is just seconds away from being done. There it is, finishing right now amidst that battle. The supply is 185 to 130 here. It looks like Hyun is running out of units.
GG!
We are going to go on to game